not said. Okay, I hope you're okay with this. What has to be identified is that there are two potential problems. One is the limitations of what can be printed in certain ways, okay? And then the reliability of the machine. I think we can break it down into two problems. In theory, when Gonzalo was at KNU for a week, that was clarified, what the limitations are of especially big parts and the warping of this kind of parts. All these limitations were kind of identified. It was like a ramp-up service plus benchmarking training for them, and everything was understood. Then, supposedly, there has been an issue with the reliability of the machine, although this customer is one of the customers that prints less overall. So it's very strange that they're constantly having issues with this. The key thing is that now the customer is convinced that they want to change the machine. However, Mr. Choi, the statistics say, okay, all the numbers that the company says is that this machine has the same reliability than any other machine. So the problem is we need to make sure that we have clarified with the customer the print quality limitations. Second, we need to clarify that this is the reliability of the machine. The machine fails or doesn't fail or requires this level of attention. This machine and the new machine. So actually, getting a new machine, they're taking the risk that they will work less well. Okay, so this is one of the things that we need to clarify. And so, if you don't mind, on the print quality, Gonzalo, could you update us, or could you give us a brief refresher of what was the situation, what were the steps that you took, and then we can basically identify if we need to take further steps or how we would guarantee that we do the same thing in this case.
Okay, I don't know very well how the Zoom meetings works, but if I can share my yes, share screen. I can share my desktop.
An engineer with
yes, with problems with the
problems
technology.
with technology.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. Casa al herrero, cuchara de palo.
That's the Spanish said. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
You see my screen and you see yourself also. Okay, this is the report that we share with KNU, and it includes all the activities and what was the results of the test that we ran there to make sure and to clarify if the printer could print within the HP specifications. So the status summary, I'm going to be very quick on this, is KNU requested our help because they were experiencing several part quality issues when trying to print with their machine. And what we found when we had the first meeting, the first alignment meeting with them, was that they expressed concerns about the repeatability in parts between jobs, which is normal, and we explained them what are the best what are the best recommendations to make sure that they get two parts as similar as possible. So what we are saying is that our parts are going to be all within the HP specs, so within the 0.2 mm or 0.2%, but to guarantee that two parts are going to be as similar as possible, there is some type of recommendations like putting the parts close into the bed. If you try to replicate in two different jobs, try to keep the same orientation and position, this type of things. This was previous to the visit. It was the first the alignment meeting that we had on Monday. Okay, so then they expressed concerns about the elephant skin and thermal bleed. This is totally an issue that can be solved because it is related with the radiance or the energy that we are using to print the parts. Also, they complained or they expressed their concerns about the warpage, which is something that comes with our technology and also with other SLS technologies. Depending on the shape of the part, if it is a very thin and if it is a part with a ratio between two dimensions very, very high, let's say, like a plate, our parts and other SLS parts has the risk to have warpage, and we have some recommendations like doing natural cooling or extra natural cooling to avoid this type of defects. Also, we explained them that there is some parts that we can do our best effort, but even with this best effort, we can only minimize the effect. In some cases, we can totally solve it, and in other cases, we can only minimize the effect, and there will be still a little bit of warpage. Okay. Also, we talked about capillarity, which is something that comes also with our technology. It's something that happens in the top side of the part, in the last layers, and it is some sharp edges on the parts because of this effect that you can see also in the fringe in the water, right? The water, when it is touching the walls, has this raised part. And then lines on parts. The lines on parts is also something that can be solved because it is directly related with the print health status. So they were concerned about 5 points in part quality, and we can know that point 2 and point 5 is it can be totally solved. Capillarity is something that comes with our technology. Warpage can be minimized and in most of the cases solved, but in other cases it's very difficult to do it. Well, it's in some cases it's impossible. And for the repeatability, also we can do parts very similar, but we cannot expect that they are totally the same part. We can assure that they are going to be within the HP specs, but not that they are going to be exactly the same. Okay, that's clear. I think this was a good meeting just to explain them what we can solve, what we cannot solve, and how we are going to proceed during the next week, because we are going to focus on adjusting the machine to make sure that they are not going to have elephant skin and thermal bleed, and we are going to train them to minimize the other 3 problems. Okay?
What about the expectation on the alerts, the warnings, and the
that's different. Let's start with the power quality.
Yeah.
So no, it's in terms of of how many errors can they expect. It was also shared. Let me go with the part quality, and then I will show you the other presentation that we show to the operators, where we have the reliability and how many errors did they have in the past, and what is the reliability of this machine. I'm going to focus. If I'm extended too much into the explanation, you can just say, okay, I don't need more information on this, and I can jump into the next one. But it is just for you to know what we did exactly on this machine. Well, this is for the part quality. They printed 4 jobs before we arrived here. For the past 4 jobs, they didn't have any problem, and this was after they elevated that they cannot print with our machine, that they need an on-site visit, blah, blah, blah. They were complaining very hard, and when we arrived there, we realized that they have already printed 4 jobs, which is good, but it was something that we didn't know. So this was the plan, blah, blah, blah. Alignment meeting, which was on Monday, and printing different demo jobs and customer jobs to make sure that we can print with good part quality. This is something that we saw. This is a cosmetic defect on the machine. Is the curtain was scratching against one metal plate. Once we replace the curtain and modify this metal plate, we could solve it. It was not affecting to the part quality, and to prove this, we just replaced the curtain after running our test, so it was the last day. We saw the printing lips, like in other units, are burned because of a lack of maintenance. That's normal. We replaced the lips too. The cleaning roll high verification. We ran some different calibrations, and we ran a first job with reference irradiance, with a reference energy. We saw that they were a little bit high on energy. And after this, we printed the HP demo job, which is the demo job that we print in all the installations to verify if the machine is performing as expected. Okay, so the first test that we do is how many levels do we have to make sure that they can work with the machine. And this was really promising because there was 4 levels where we didn't see any thermal bleed or elephant skin. Well, in this case, elephant skin, which is very good because it gives us bandwidth to choose what is the correct energy that we want to use. In other units, you have less levels to choose. So we can say that even this one, it was performing really good on this. We measure this. In fact, we not we only measure this. We took the operator, and the operator measured this, and they were the ones filling this table. And as you can see, all the measures are within the HP specs for the different levels. Those are 7 different levels, and in those 3 levels, the ones remarked in green, we got a really good part quality. Okay, and based on these results, we choose an irradiance of 1.5, which is going to be modified by by some adjustment factor when they are printing with more or less density. Okay, so first step, the machine is adjusted and we know what is the starting point. Second step, those are the parts that they are complaining that they are having warpage. This is the best orientation. We had a training with them to make to ensure that they understand what are how they should prepare this type of jobs and what are the main parameters that they need to bear in mind when they want to print this type of parts. So we prepare the job, we add this cell to avoid the warpage as much as possible. We weren't 100% sure that it is going to solve the problem, but at least this is the best that we did here in some tests in Singapore and Barcelona to minimize the effect. And the outcomes were really good. The part was perfectly flat. We saw these results and they were really happy with this. The only concern about this part is we saw a couple of lines which are related with one of the printhead with the performance of one printhead, which was printhead number 1, I think. Yes, in printhead number 1 area, and we cleaned the printhead. Well, we ran the test. We ran the printhead nozzle head to make sure that we identify the problem. We could see very clearly that there was cross contamination between the detailing and fusing agent, and this is the root cause. This line here, remarked in red, is the cause of the problem. We cleaned everything, and then we could keep working without this problem. And then they tried to run another job with a even more challenging parts. This is the job that we printed on Thursday. And it is the one that I unpacked on Saturday. So I went on Saturday morning just to see the results of this job. For this type of jobs, we warn them that it is not the best orientation. If they want to print this part, they should do it in different jobs, but they wanted to try all in one. And we told them, the parts that you are printing in the last layers are very likely to have warpage. It was explained in advance because the recommendation for those 2 parts are going to be printed more or less okay, but the top parts, if you want to print it without any warpage, what you have to do is to print it in a different job and place it as close to the bottom as possible. Okay, so when we unpack this job, what we realize is that some of the parts, the one that was in the bottom area was okay, but the ones in the bottom area was okay, but the ones on the top, as we expected, they had warpage. Okay, so the theory and the practical and what we got from the machine was aligned, and this is the report that I share with all the team in KNU. And also Poache was also in the loop, and in the age. I think everybody was in this loop, and I shared this report with all of them. What we agree there was also that keep using the machine right now. They pointed about the upgraded top on parts. This is just something that we can. The only recommendation for this is to chill the parts because it comes also with the capillarity limitation. Well, that's the same. Is the fast cooling is not suitable for some of the applications, and this could impact their workflow. But bearing in mind the level of usage that they are doing of the machine, we need to know. Well, we need to put this in context, and they are concerned about the printhead defects. So because of this, we recommend them to monitor during every week the printhead status by running a nozzle health check. And also we agree that JHN will call them weekly to follow up during those weeks. Okay, so this was the activities that we run on site, and we also have the
Gonzalo, quick question, right? You say share with everyone in KNU is including the management team.
No, I don't have Mr. Park email.
Okay.
I can forward you the email, but I think you were in copy too.
Yeah.
If not, I will tell you exactly who was the DL, the distribution list of this email.
Yeah. But can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is where we made a tactical mistake, I would say. Okay. No. You did your job. I think we have the base. Okay. But this is where we made a tactical mistake and this is where we made the tactical mistake. We needed to ensure that the highest manager was there, because if he's not aligned, we have nothing. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Gonzalo, can you continue? This is really good.
Yes. So this is the presentation that we also shared during the first day. just to explain what was what the data is telling us about this machine, and also what is the story behind, because we have some elevations and we did a deep dive on what happened on this machine. In part quality, those are the problems that they experienced. Those are the previous cases related with part quality and what were the recommendations for each one of the cases. Here we have the date and what was the problem. Here they were complaining about accuracy. We could solve it, but then after this they complained again because they had other problem, which we think it was related with how they placed orientated the parts, and then the war page that we explained later how to do it, and other accuracy problems in set that we could solve also by putting a better layer density and energy. I'm going to be very quick on this because I want to focus on the hardware stability. Okay, on the hardware stability, they sent during all the up to before my visit, they have sent 107 jobs, and out of these 107 jobs, 101 were printed because some of them was cancelled, and the ones that they were sent was printed. And from those 101, 98 were printed okay. So this means that the stability of this machine is really, really good. It's even above the average, let's say. So we explained this also to KNU about what is the job finish rate that they are having. They are really having a really good. Then I'm just talking about the jobs that finish, not the per quality of the jobs. Because if we try to evaluate this, then it's going to be a different number because they got really bad experiences on par quality, but it was more related with the training than with the machine performance itself. Okay, different severe errors that they were experiencing, and what is the root cause for each one of them. What is the issue, what is the solution, and what we did to solve the problem. Printhead receipt, there was a problem with the cross-contamination. During May, June, they experienced more printhead problems, and they were related with the wiper blade status, which is the cleaning rod blade. It's the one that we use to service the printheads, to clean them, wipe them. And it was in bad shape, and we replaced the blade, we ran the calibration again, and then the number of printhead receipt the number of printhead receipt was reduced. Still, we know that with the printhead, we have some continuity failures that appears on the job, but it is important to say that the printhead continuity failure doesn't stop the job. Doesn't stop the job while printing. It could stop the job before printing, it could stop the job before annealing, and could stop the job at the end of the job, but not while it is printing. So is not while it is printing. So there is a firmware investigate. Well, there is an investigation in the firmware to change this check, and it is going to appear only at the beginning or at the end of the job, not even in the middle line, before the anneal line. So all the jobs are going to finish, and you are going to be warned if the printhead could have some continuity problem, and then you can run your tests or just your checks to make sure that the printhead is in good status or not. The temperature camera, they had a problem. Well, they had a problem. There was a spot on the lens of the camera that we thought that it could be affecting to the part quality of some of the jobs, and we also preventively replaced the camera. We could clean it, but to make sure, we didn't want to take any risk, and we replaced the camera and ran the proper calibration for this after the replacement. Then the recoder sealing was adjusted previously to make sure that there was no gap between build unit and printer. But as there is a new design for the recoder sealing, we decided to install also the new design. But doesn't mean that the old one was performing bad, or then when performing as expected, because if we adjust the old one in the correct position, there is no problem with this. But as we had the new design, we decided to upgrade also this component for them. The beam motor failures is common all along is common in other units, and it is something that was addressed timely when it was reported. And top lamps, there was two top lamps that stopped a job and they were fused. They were replaced with the long-term consumable kit, which is something that it's regular performance. It's just maintenance. This is why we have the long-term consumables kit, just with these components, with the top lamp, with the fusing lamps, and these kind of things. And also we replaced the top enclosure filters as part of the regular maintenance and explain them how to perform a good maintenance of the machine. Okay, so this is all some statistical information about usage that they have done, printhead use, total powder use. Okay, and finally, we see here there is some explanation about what we are going to do to make them to work better with the part quality. Okay, how we are monitoring the part quality. Here we saw that there was a drop a little bit in the T-melts and it was recovered with the after replacing the T-melt, but all this data, what make us think is that the machine was performing as expected, and it is what we still think. Now, if we want to go, I'm going to okay. If now we want to talk about the last week of August, that was when they experienced this really bad situation. They had 4 problems or 5 problems in the same week, but the problem was, or what I think that triggers this type of big escalation was that they didn't escalate. I'm not saying that this is their fault, but maybe we need to be more on top of them. But they had a problem on Monday, they didn't escalate, tried to solve it by themselves. They had a problem on Tuesday, same, and they waited until Thursday when on Thursday they had 4 problems, which are most of them, except for one, all of them are known issues that are regular problems that can appear on the unit. One was the CNAT, that it is the platform was blocked, and it is something that we could prevent, but we didn't want to run the upgrade, well, to do the CNAT upgrade before they were stable. But we know that if it fails, the first step that we have to do is to replace the CNAT, which is the new design that it is going to help us to avoid this type of situations. They have a cleaning roll slippage, which was solved just replacing the cleaning roll. It has happened in other units in the field. And they had 2 problems related with PCAs that I think Nancom addressed, changing the proper PCAs when he was there. But this is something that can happen in all the units in the field. And I think that with this, I have covered most of the things. We have Nancom's report if you want to go through, but I think those are the last news that we had. And as per Nancom's feedback also, after his upgrade, his on-site visit, he said that the machine works as expected.
So just to add on top of Nampong's visit, right? So Gonzalo mentioned about the build unit Zenat upgrade. So when Namkun is trying to do the rework, he realized that the screws of the build unit are not able to removed. Okay, so as a result, what we need to do in terms of repairing the customers or KNU's build unit, we have to take it back to our office. Now, I think the blessing thing, or probably the unfortunate thing, depending how you look at it, is that our loaner build unit is with KNU. They are using it right now. The intent is to swap it with customers with KNU's unit, so they can keep our brand new loaner. We will take back their defective build unit to our office. Along when we ship the replacement unit back, we will ship together as a one shipment. Okay. Now, so which I briefly already told David about that. So we have to include the build unit exchange in the settlement letter.
Yeah, and can we just, for the sake of survival, well, we'll talk about this, but can we just get them a second? Just let them keep one of the build units when we change the machine. Let's just give them two build units, for God's sake.
They have 2 build units right now. One is defective; they can't use until we repair it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Is there some way that we can get them, just let them keep 2 build units, you know, working build units, you know, in this exchange of build unit and machine and all this. It just seems that they're so I'm gonna use the word anal or annoying, that they seem to, you know, want the build unit so bad that I'm like, okay, let's just try to, if we decide to go forward with this, okay, now I think that you guys set the frame very clearly of what is the situation in terms of print quality. Okay, I think the explanation of the limitations of the technology are very clear. I have a lot of confidence that Gonzalo could explain it this well. Okay, the problem is, and we identified this in DH, this is our responsibility, is that we needed the top, well, and Choi, Mr. Choi, I think this is also our joint responsibility, is to make sure that the top person in the organization was there to co-sign, because this is what happens all the time. You get the technical support, but if the management is not there to support, we do not control what is the internal flow of communication. The technical guy could just be what we call in Spanish, washing his hands and saying, "Oh, I don't know, this is HP," you know, and it's not HP. It's or it is HP in some cases, but we didn't control that flow. Now that we've identified that the print quality was correctly explained, or at least the limitations were explained, everything is optimized to the maximum. The technical people accepted the situation. It seems that they also accepted the performance or the reliability of the machine was okay. So, Mr. Choi, now the situation is that no matter what we do, we need to have another session with the KNU in which, even if it's one day, but someone from the service team needs to explain and identify very clearly. That's my commitment to Ramon Pastor, to the GM of Multijet Fusion, that someone will explain, and Armando too, okay, the person from the head of quality assurance, that someone will explain, look, let's be clear, this machine reliability is the same or better than average reliability. We will explain again the product limitations. We need the manager, the one deciding, to be there, or at least a part of the session at the end, so we can all say, okay, you understand what is the situation, we will give you all the support, and in exchange, we will give you a new machine, we will give you 6 months warranty, independent of extended warranty, and we will try to get them to keep an additional build unit. All this, which is quite extraordinary amount of effort from I can tell you, from the organization. Do you think it can lock for them a new situation where they understand, where they embrace this, and where they commit also to do another joint PR where we explain, even if we explain the limitations of the technology, but to clean this up? Because the problem is that Ramon, and I understand the organization, don't want this to happen. If we just give them the machine and they don't put their reputation in place too, because then the only thing we're doing is giving another machine, having more problems, and then they will be able to say 2 machines from HP are failing, which then is a big problem.
Mark, just to a point on the build unit. So I don't think we should give them another build unit.
Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
No. Okay, it's recorded. So I'm telling you no. I think we are giving too much.
I'm recording this for myself. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, I'm telling you, we are giving too many. We are replacing a brand new unit with 6 months warranty. Is already a lot.
I know. I just want to get this freaking customer out of our faces. Okay, the age is telling me that we can't do business in Korea anymore because of this customer. How we've managed this customer. I think that's an exaggeration, but I think that if we get them to do positive PR and become our evangelist, it's a small price to pay, okay? But the key here is I only see 2 paths: or full engagement where we transform the relationship, or forget them. I mean, no machine, no build unit, no warranty. This is the machine you have. Legally, we have no obligation of changing it, and we forget about them, because giving them the machine and not getting a commitment from them is going to backfire even more. So, Mr. Choi, how do you feel about this?
Actually, about the joint PR, I already talked to them and they are okay with it. And then DH was there too, so that will be fine. But then I see a little bit differently. They are not complaining about the part quality issue anymore, because my engineer, Mr. Kim, they visit KNU more than 50 days, 50 nights or 50 days. And then whenever we go there, we fix it. After our visit, everything was fine. After 2 or 3 weeks or a month, everything starts to repeat wrongly again. And then their problem or the complaint right now is that they want a machine they just can continuously print the parts without having anything about part quality issue. But then lastly, Gonzalo mentioned about bill unit, but then there was something else which was power supply error or warning lights, and then nobody actually know what caused this error at the moment. And then the customer is losing faith in HP because even it's not about the part quality issue. The hardware itself is having so many warning lights or the errors. So they are running out of the warranty, and then the machines keep doing everything that they used to do 1 year ago. That's why they are complaining about.
But Mr. Purai, the problems that they experienced were never the same. The problems were addressed, and they are having new problems. Some of them common to other machines, and every time that they had a problem, we solved this problem. So it's not a problem that keeps repeating during the time. It's a different problem each time, and we are solving them as they are appearing. So, and I can tell you, it's this machine is not performing worse than other machines. So we have some problems on the machines. What we need to make sure is that we react on time, and we solve the problems whenever they appear. And what it is important is that the communication between KNU and the support team is very fluid. Because if they try to just, okay, I'm going to try to keep printing and forget about this error, they don't know if this error is going to affect to the next job. So once they have a problem, what they have to do is to escalate it. We will solve it timely, because this is why we are committed, but that's what we are committed to do, to solve them as soon as possible. And then they can keep printing with the technology. But if what they expect is a machine that doesn't fail at all, that's not the machine that they have to use. And I think they are not going to find many machines like this in the.
If I compare to with my other customer or our demo machine, we never had a same problem with the KNU hardware issues. I have saying Mr. the machine is stable, but then I don't really know because I'm not an engineer. But then basically you get from other customer, they are having more problem than other machines in Korea right now.
No, I have compared with other machines in the field, and I can tell you, I have seen some, because we have the data, all the machines are connected to the cloud, and I have compared with other customers in Korea, and they are also experiencing this type of problems. Maybe not the same, or maybe they are addressed more timely, or they do better maintenance, but all the machines are experiencing the same type of problems.
Gonzalo,
and more or less with
Gonzalo,
the same,
to break this myth, to break this situation, can we share data taking out the names for confidentiality issues?
No, I don't think so. But what we can compare is it's difficult to say. Okay, they are saying that, we are saying that. It's how to prove that.
This is the problem, that our own partner does not believe our data. So I mean, I understand his point of view, and he's under the stress of the most important customer complaining.
Actually, I do believe your data, but then just from my experience with my demo machine, we never had to replace the princess, but then the KNU, we replaced more than 8 times. I know you guys have data for replacing the princess for twice or 3 times already, but then except that, other than that, my engineer went to there to replace number 1 to number 3 or those kind of stuff. So
yes, that's true.
More than 8 or 9. Yeah.
Yes, currently, in Korea we have 9 install base, including demo unit. I talked to each customer and each partner who are using our HP machine, each by each, one by one, for 9 customers, including partner operators. But there's the same feedback from each operator was the same as Mr. Choi's response. So the particular problem is in KNU is bigger than other the install base.
But bigger. What is bigger? So I want to make sure.
Much more is
I understand the word bigger. What I mean is, based on what? Can I look at an Excel sheet? I mean, Gonzalo, this is the problem. Our own team has a different impression based on talking. is there some way that with hiding the names, all this, we can compare and say, look, these are the problems that are, you know, because this is the problem. You know, the DH and Choi right now have in their minds. So of course, then they're not going to face the customer in the same way and tell them, look, customer, you know, this is very simple. We can do it this way. And is there some way with the data we can corroborate? I mean, maybe there's 9 printhead changes. You're saying 9 printhead changes in KNU?
Yeah, yes, no, but I explained it to all this. Well, there was a period of time during 1 month we had to replace a lot of printheads, but it was related. This is related with the aging. There is a long-term consumable kit which includes the cleaning roll, and after 1 year, this component must be replaced. And what this component was causing was that the printheads were damaged more often. This is why the number of printheads was so high in this case. But it is a case. It can happen in other machines if we don't replace this component timely.
Okay. So this is the kind of conversation, guys. Okay, yeah, there's something that is exceptional, but it's based on a clear cause, and actually it's an issue of maintenance. And what else? I mean, I just want to make sure, because if you guys are not buying into this, and you don't believe what we're saying or what you know, then it's very hard. I understand that you prefer to side on the customer side. I mean, it's this, you know, you have to live. What else are the data points that tell us that we have? It's a pity that services can't share this information even with blind names, without the names. But we can't compare exactly one thing with the other. What other issues are making KNU feel that the machine is much worse? I'm fine.
Because
don't get me wrong. We can change the machine. We have the authority. We have the machine reserved. What I don't want is that we change the machine. They continue making the same mistakes, like not replacing a part. The printheads fail, and they're like, HP machine is shit. The second machine that is shit. We can't do that. We can't do that. So this is why we're doing this.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know if you remember, Mark, but then last year summer they also had a problem with the machine, and they complained about the part quality issue, and then we had to replace print set, all that kind of stuff. And then recently, even with our demo machine, we never had to change or replace our printer before the life cycle. But then KNU, we had to replace 9 times. That means something, right? And same for the GIST, we never replace any printer before the life cycle time.
But
this is what I explained.
So I think end of the day, we are giving the replacement you need. Let the replacement
no.
be the judge, right? To prove.
No. I prefer not to give the machine. No. Let's be clear. Or the team commits right here and now. The team, I mean, Choi and Do-young. Okay, you guys need to be aligned. Okay, we need to be aligned, and you need to go convince the customer, you know, that this and make them understand. Because if not, we're having a problem 3 months down the road. I know there's going to be a problem down the road, and then it's going to be much worse, because the KNU is going to be able to say that we failed with 2 machines. 2 machines. So then it's a disaster. DH, you think it's hard now? It's affecting your sales. That KNU is complaining about 1 machine. Imagine if they start complaining about 2 machines. So, or you guys have all the data, buy in, and go to the customer and say, customer, we're so sorry, we bow, but let's be clear. These are the limitations of the technology. You've understand them. Tick. These are the machine performance. And in reality, you did not have a worse machine. You had an equal machine that had these specific problems. Okay, I think this is very important. You say the printheads had to be replaced many times. Fine. And there was a very clear root cause that drove this. Let's make sure that if next time, I'm sure they won't have as many issues, but that they are prepared, that this machine does require this machine, and that's why the care pack is so important. And in reality, the care pack should be included in the price of the machine, because we don't actually have an option. So this is the funny thing, that we have a care pack, but there's only one. So that's the only option. So it should be included. Our machine should be more expensive. Our machine should be $350,000. That's the reality, instead of the price that it is. Okay, but it's not like that. But they need to, the minute they have a problem, they call. Hey, HP, there's something. Okay, boom. Not this is not going to cost them money. I think they're trying to save interaction, to save money, because they think in the future they can renegotiate and not end up buying the care pack. They have to buy the care pack, and if they don't want to buy the care pack, we're not giving them the machine, because it's going to be a problem in 6 months, because I feel this customer thinks that they can get away without buying the care pack. And I'm sorry, we did not communicate that clearly, but this machine doesn't work without a care pack. You know, I'm just trying I'm being a little bit strong about my communication, but I just want you to understand that this machine without the care pack, it's worthless. Why? The care pack should be, you know, that's the reality.
There are two things I think. One about the care pack, they are more than willing to buy a care pack if the machine never had a problem.
No,
they are complaining because
it doesn't work that way.
So, during the first year warranty period.
So that's the problem, Mr. Choi. This is not going to work. That's exactly not going to work, because they need the care pack to get the machine running. So the machine is going to have problems. This machine has too many moving parts, has too many components, and is the first generation, and doesn't matter. This is a performing above average machine, and it still has these problems. So the key is that they need to understand that the care pack is key to get the machine running. Whenever there's an incident, they need to very fast, they'll get their machine running. But this is part of the equation. If they expect the next machine to be running perfect during 6 months, never have to call us, and then they will buy a care pack, that's not going to work, because they are going to have problems, and that's why the care pack exists. You know, the care pack should be part of the price. The care pack should be part of the price. That's the mistake that we made as a company. You know, if you have no other options, the care pack should be part of the price, but it isn't. So
the thing is that they are not against with the care pack, because I sold 5 machines to them, and then they already buy the care pack for the other brands.
Yeah.
But then those kind of brand, they had a problem with the machine at the first year, but then like not those kind of critical problem they believe. And then the second thing is that they have a connection with all the 3D printing customer in South Korea, and then no matter what I tell, or no matter what Gonzalo explained to them about the print, replacing the printhead or whatever, they can call the customer. They can call the other HP customer, and then they can ask them directly. And then their answer was, we don't have any problem with our printhead, but then they do, right?
Yeah, but this is, let's clarify. Let's clarify. The customer believes they have more problems. Statistically, they don't have more problems, okay? Science, one thing is subjectivity and objectivity. In the objective world, they don't have more problems. Okay, now to the subjective world. In their heads, everybody, and you guys too, you guys believe it too, and I respect that, okay? This machine has more problems. Fine. The problem is if they expect the next machine to be running like a Ferrari. Well, a Ferrari actually has a lot of problems. Running like a Mercedes, okay? If they expect it to be running like a Mercedes, it's not gonna run like a Mercedes. It is a Ferrari, is a race car that every day needs to, that every week you need to change something because you're, because it's complex technology. It's you're taking it to the limit. So this is very important. Okay.
Yeah, they are not complaining about the consumable that had to replace due to the life cycle time. They are complaining because they had to replace before the life cycle time.
Yes, but there was a very clear. Yeah, but Gonzalo already explained. There was a very
no because I have the data of GST, for instance, and they have used 6 printheads. They have been swapping printheads in the 3 positions. So what we can say here is that they experienced some problem with the printheads, but they didn't complain so hard. What they did is to manage themselves to solve the problem. But what the reality is telling me, what the data is telling me, that they use 6 printheads. All of them were replaced before the end of life, and they were swapping printheads. So same. If we can go example by example, but you can see that other customers in Korea had the same problems, but KNU is more critical to them.
We never have a problem with our demo machine, so
I will check your machine too.
Yeah, we have the data. This is the important thing, that Choi, we're not challenging, Mr. Choi. We're not challenging. We just want to make sure. You try to understand here. The data says that there might be some more issue here, more issue there, but on average, this machine is equal or better than the rest, okay? One of the graphs that the services won't show you, but quality assurance Armando showed to me, shows that the machine is actually the best performing machine in Korea, okay? Statistically, taking some data points, okay? That the important thing is what the customer feels. And I understand that we're customer centric. We need to make customer happy. But the objective world says something different than the subjective world of the customer. So we need to make an effort, and you need to, you and Mr. And Do Young need to be on our side, okay? It's convincing the customer. If you don't believe in this, you're gonna be, yeah, oof, I hope the boss, we're so sorry, Mr. We need to be sorry. We need to tell our customer how grateful we are for their, but we need to also make sure that we adjust their subjective thinking. Because if not, this is a problem that is repeating itself in 3 months. You know, I understand that you are the ones that have to hear the calls, waste the time traveling there, having all this, and you're the ones who are frustrated. And we're happy to change the machine. I'm happy to change. We got the machine. We got the extension of warranty that almost cost me my job. Well, I'm joking, but I can tell you Ramon wasn't happy at all, okay, about that conversation. But we did it. We're happy to change it, but only, and I will only accept to change it if we commit to communicate very clearly, you know, with the customer that, look, this is how the machine works. This is how the limitations. Let us explain that this machine, we can manage it however you want the communication, saying, look, actually statistically, the machine operates very similarly to others, but well, we do understand that you had this special frustration, and let's be humble and say, like, we admit that we haven't treated you as the top customer that you are. We're willing to all this, and this is why we're getting you the warranty, extended warranty, and we're getting you all this, okay? We can do that, but we need to make sure that they understand, okay, this is more or less how the machine performs, more or less how other machines perform. Because if they have to change again print heads, and the week after, for whatever reason, the week after we leave, we shake hands, and they have to change another print head, and they go crazy and they start calling like, what the fuck? This was the machine. I had to change print head. Statistically, it could happen that for whatever reason, some issue happens the next week, the week after we leave with the new machine and all this. They need to be mentally prepared, because if not, this is going to be what Americans call a shitstorm, where basically the customer immediately starts telling everybody that we just got the machine and a week later it's failing already. We got a new machine from HP and it's failing. This is PR disaster. PR disaster. As a reseller, your relationship with K&U is very important. Us, we did a PR event with them. Our own MD came. It's very important, but we cannot risk that the customer is not mentally prepared for this thing, and is not calling us immediately and letting us get that solved immediately. This is very important. You have to do therapy with your customer, and if we are not aligned on the level of therapy you're going to do, this is, I can not even 3 months, a week later we could have a PR disaster. And I am not assuming that responsibility. I promised to Ramon Pasto that I wouldn't let this happen. Okay, so I need to, you know, I told the biggest boss that I wouldn't let this happen. I can't let this happen. So I need you guys to buy in very clearly that we're going to communicate. And now this comes to the last topic. Cockfight, who can, now that Gonzalo's not there, who can come and do the explanation to the customer? Because
I totally understand what you are saying, and then I'm also on your side, but I was just telling what my customer told me about HP.
Yeah, but we understand. Don't get me wrong. You know, it's like in relationships. Objective things happen. You know, you call your girlfriend, she's in a meeting, she doesn't answer. But subjectively, people see things very differently. So we need to work on the customer. I want us to commit to work on the customer. Okay, to have very clear messaging. We will separate the conversation. This is why someone from services needs to do the explanation. So we leave it in a very technical way, but. I don't speak Korean, so I can't do it for you. But I want to make sure that the customer understands. Look, this machine is not perfect. This is latest. This is the first generation. You need to each time that every month you'll have one little issue. That's guaranteed, almost guaranteed. Okay, so don't worry. That's what the care pack is for. That's what exactly the care pack is for. to make sure that it doesn't cost you nothing and it's done in a day. Okay. So I hope to have both of yours commitment. I'm your boss, so I'm telling you that you have to have your commitment. I have to have your commitment for this. Okay. In terms of who can do the technical part of the presentation, Kokfai, who could do this?
Do we need to have the communication in Korean?
I mean, Gonzalo didn't speak. Gonzalo
was there. He's done it in English. Am I right?
Yeah. Gonzalo, how important
Yeah.
is
So
Korean?
Mr. Choi, let me know if we were to converse in English. It's a problem.
I would say that in English I had to be translated by Yachen and also by Mr. Choi, because they helped me to translate some of the parts of the technical explanation.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I see the value to have it in Korean. Maybe Mr. Choi can add more here.
So maybe we need to.
My option now is I have to look at when is the meeting with KNU. All right, my priority will be Namkoon.
Yes, I'm suggesting Gonzalo to present a technical story, and then Namgoni
Gonzalo Gonzalo lives in Barcelona now. We lost him. We had him for a week, and we lost him. Okay, so it has to be someone who's in the region. It's too expensive to fly Gonzalo to Korea for one day meeting.
Oh, but the technical service, the technical specialist in Korean who can speak Korean is better, I think, very clearly. Because in sales guys, sales technically not acceptable, not clearly. So someone in service APJ team who can speak Korean is better, I think. Namgon, how about?
Namgon speaks Korean?
Yes.
He's Korean.
Oh, he's Korean. I'm sorry, I'm confused with Chiquito. Sorry, I'm confused with Chiquito. Okay, perfect. So we send Namkon.
At the moment, yes. But I need to know when is the meeting with KNU.
Okay.
All right. So as I said, he's our first priority. In case of any conflict, then I may have to send a second priority.
Okay. No, let's who could you send a second priority? Because with all, I think there's a little bit of the customer has a little bit of friction with. I'm not saying it's Zhejiang's fault, but am I right about this? Zhejiang and the customer have a little bit of friction, or
yeah. Yes,
okay. No, let's clarify, because it's not fair, but it's the reality, and the subjective reality is that the customer, for whatever reason, has not the best relationship with Zhejiang. So do we have a second option except Namkoon?
You can still send Zhejiang, I think. It's not like they hate him.
Yeah, but I want to make sure that so we need to make sure that the customer feels okay. One of the reasons we brought Gonzalo is that Gonzalo is one of the most technical guys. He's been all over the region. He knows a lot, so he can answer any question. So actually, when we sent Gonzalo, we were sending the best that we had. Okay, to make sure that the customer that we close this. Okay. In this case, we want to do the same. We want to make sure that the customer is not that Zhejiang or Namkon are better or worse. We just want to make sure that the customer is like, okay, great, I believe this. If they have some friction with Zhejiang, I don't want them to be like, yeah, but I don't believe Zhejiang because he told me this and that before, and I don't like him. I just want to avoid that. It's unfair, but there's the reality. We're trying to convince the customer.
So I don't believe there's friction with Zhejiang, right? So I think I come from a perspective where we need someone coming from APJ who the customers will see a higher value because it's a regional expert who can give more advice, right?
Perfect.
So Namkoon is my priority one. If not, I'll probably look at Jackie as my second priority. But in that event, that we need translation. Okay.
Can we? I think the Korean part is very important. I think it just reduces the amount of lost in translation, everything. And can we get Namkoon schedule one? When would it work better for him? Because this way we will try to set up the meeting. I just think it will improve communication enormously if they can talk every detail in Korean and we avoid the lost in translation.
What kind of dates are we talking about with the KNU management meeting?
Guys, Choi, when do you think, Mr. Choi, when do you think this could happen?
I will have to ask them, but sooner will be better because the rumor is going everywhere.
Yeah. So sooner means in the next 2 weeks, or sooner means in the next month? What is that for you?
Next 2 weeks, I believe.
Okay. Okay, so
can we
Sorry,
tentatively?
guys. I have to drop the call. Sorry. Thank you for your.
I also need to move.
Gonzalo,
No.
¿me envías esas dos presentaciones, el PDF y el PowerPoint? Aunque ya se me lo has enviado antes, pero si me lo puedes enviar otra vez, simplemente para que lo tengan.
Vale, sí,
I have
te lo
it.
mando.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Easy.
Sí, no.
So Mark, I need to go. So I think let's target week after next.
Okay, the week of...
Also because we also need to prepare the settlement letter.
Okay, so put
Yep.
22 to 26 of October. Okay, guys, that's the target date.
Okay.
Okay.
Mark, I have a question. At that time, you should bring with the settlement to sign up to with the KNU.
Yeah. We need to close everything in one time. Okay, and you go drink soju, and you take the customer to dinner, and you pass me.
So you mean the when we go to with the Namgoni technical service, at the time you should finalize the sign up with the KNU agreement.
Good
right?
to do that.
Yes, I would say it's ideal to do it in the same round. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Another question is, you should free 6 months warranty. Should free 6 months warranty is applied from after since agreement at the
No.
time from that time?
Yeah,
From that time 6 months.
from the moment we put the new machine.
Put some exactly saying.
The new machine, when we put the new machine.
The COI of the replacement machine.
COI replacement machine, 6 months. Okay, we're not going to have debates on that. Okay. Okay, very clear.
Okay,
Yeah.
clear.
Okay,
Okay.
guys. So I'll send an email. I'll send a summary email of next steps. Okay.
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 Okay. Thank you, guys.
Right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you very much.